All right. Well, good evening, everyone. Welcome to the AF Mixter. Oh, there's Hassan. That's number nine. Um, so, yeah, we've got at least one for sure absence today, which is Peter, who is off in distant lands. I believe he's in England at the moment, if I'm not mistaken. But no other regrets, as far as I know. So, this is the assembled crowd for tonight. So, um, and hands up, I guess virtual hands up. Those of you that are making plans to go to the Path of Totality this coming Monday. Who's We got Drew, we got me, we got Frank, we got Kevin.
That which?
The the going to the eclipse, the Path of
Oh,
Totality.
no.
No, not making any special plans.
Nah, I can't get off work for one thing.
Uh,
Your umbrellas.
well, at least you'll see some dimming if you can at least poke your head out of out a window or something, or go and have a look. But even if you're just outside of the path, I think you don't quite get the effect, right? Even if you're 99.8% obscured, it's still going to be fairly bright. Bright enough that you have to keep the solar viewer glasses on, right? So. But yeah, my plans are to head out Kingston way now. Maybe Prince Edward County, possibly. We'll see.
Ooh,
I'm sure
Eric.
it's going to be a busy spot, but what we're betting on is less busy than Niagara. So um,
Niagara's going to be cloudy.
They want
yeah.
500,000 people going to Kingston.
We don't want them.
Wait a second. Oh, that is Peter. I thought that was some other Peter. It's
No.
the Peter. What are you
Well,
doing
it
here?
just so happened we were having a great conversation tonight, and everybody went just off the bed, and I looked at the clock, and it was 12:30 our time, and I thought, wait a minute, that's the meeting time, so I thought I'd join in.
Okay. So
Don't know how long I'm going to stay because I've only had 2 hours sleep in the last 30 hours, but anyway, so I'm whining
and it
now.
shows. Yeah.
But
What do you
but
mean it
now, don't you
shows?
have to stay up?
Wait a sec. Wouldn't it only be 11:30? No, because you're an hour ahead of UTC, right?
No, Britain just changed, so we're 5 hours ahead now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. 12:30. Well, you are a trooper. Thank you.
Well, this better be a decent meeting, I'll tell you that.
Well, now that you're here, I was going to ask if you could take over the helm. So,
No,
the bridge is yours, Captain.
don't do I.
Anyway, all right. Well, hopefully his connection stays stable. He looks a little frozen, at least on my screen, but anyway, that is coming from a bit of a distance. So maybe he'll keep his video off. Who knows? Um, anyway, all right. So yeah, we'll get, I guess, right into it. Since there are no specific mini presentations or anything on the docket for tonight, we can just jump into going around the screen and talk about what's going on. Unless, Kevin, you think you want to talk about it, separately.
No, that's fine. Just do a
Do it in
rotation,
line.
whatever you want to do.
Yeah. Okay. All right. So, you know what? I'm going to start off with myself since I'm at the top left-hand corner of my screen. So I can tell you what's on my bench. I already showed it to Frank earlier when he came on, but it's a can of Spam. So yes, indeed, I participated in uh, another QRP Me Buildathon this past weekend, Sunday evening. Rex was holding a one-day virtual buildathon where we were making a completely frivolous shack item, but essentially, and I didn't get far because I wasn't organized enough to be, of course, no surprise. But essentially, when it's done, it'll look something like this with a good old Westinghouse tube on top of it, and it'll go in line on your antenna output and essentially just light up with LEDs underneath every time you key down with your QRP CW rig. So again, just you put about 4 blue LEDs in there, and off to the races. So anyway, I didn't even have a can of Spam for the time, much less any of my components sorted or anything like that. So anyway, luckily he has all of his buildathons recorded, and they're streamed over YouTube and recorded on his channel and another ham radio channel, ham radio related channel. So you can always get any of the little build tips and what have you afterwards. So anyway, that's number 2. He says he expects to have about 4 of them or so throughout the year in total, in addition to the buildathon next month at 4 days in May. So he hasn't really said what he's doing for that, but he says it's going to be a good one this time. So anyway, make sure you sign up early if you're going down there. It's always a good time. I mean, it's a social event, but I mean, as they all are, right? Most of these things, some of them might get some use afterwards, but most of them are just about burning your fingertips for a few hours altogether. So anyway,
pizza.
And a slice of pizza, a slice of kind of crappy pizza, but yes, it is pizza. So anyway, so that's what's currently on my somewhat messy bench behind me. That's the only thing that I've been doing as of late, other than getting plans together, like I said, for the eclipse. Not too much going on. I know there's some things that people are working on. I know Dave has a project that he's madly working on. I was hoping that he was going to talk a little bit about it, but maybe he's too busy working on it to join us tonight. But anyway, who knows? Maybe he'll pop in later. But there are still things you can do if you're interested from your home QTH. Ham Sci, of course, has some receiving projects that you can go to their website and participate in, gather data before, during, and after the eclipse. So if you're interested in doing a little citizen science from home, that's always an option. So okay, so we got a little bit of QRM going on there in the background, but they seem to be okay. So Frank, you are next in the hot seat. What's going on with you these days?
Okay, my bench is still crowded with rigs and things and bits and pieces for sale. I want to thank those that have participated and bought something off the bench, but I still can't do too much on it because everything is sort of laid out. I have rented 3 tables at the Kitchener-Waterloo Hamfest. It's on June the 2nd. It's a Sunday, June 2nd. And I'll be down there and trying to flog a lot of this stuff. So it'll be spread out for you to poke at and look at and everything. Pretty well most everything has manuals. So come on down. It'd be good to see you for eyeball QSO. Other than that, for the eclipse, I'm going to be running the Whisper transmitter that we built at one of the buildathons, and I'll have it on a day or so before and during and after, and see what the reports are on the Whisper reporter. Other than that, I was bitten by a FT8 bug the other day when I was over to visit one of the hams in the neighborhood, and he has a fantastic setup just for a FT8. So I've been reading a lot and looking a lot and hooking things up and whatnot. but I thought it was strictly a weak signal mode of operation. I was a little disappointed when there's multi-hundred watt stations on there, when to me high power is 2 milliwatts. But it's a new technology and something new to learn. So that's about where I've been spending all my time. So back to you, Eric.
Okay. Frank, perhaps you could make a posting on the groups.io about the Kitchener-Waterloo Hamfest that you're going to be at. That might be a good way of getting the word out.
Yeah, I could do that.
Yeah, yeah. Just to highlight.
Maybe when it gets a little closer.
Right, right. Okay. All right. Well, I've just made a note of it. So that's great. Does that Hamfest have a name other than just Kitchener-Waterloo Hamfest, or is that it? Does anybody know off the top of their head?
I know it's had a couple of names over the years, but this is a conglomeration of Kitchener, Waterloo, let me see now, Guelph.
Okay. A number of clubs get together.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Very good.
I think it's called the Central Ontario Hamfest. I just found the website.
All right. That sounds familiar.
2024, Sunday, June 2nd. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, that's the one. And
Okay.
it's at the Kitchener Waterloo Police Recreation Association. I think that's what they call it.
Yeah. Yeah. It's just off the 401 by Homer Watson.
Okay. Very good. Thank you, Frank. Okay. Looking forward to that. And the other thing is we've been tossing, I don't know if you know this, but in the background, we've been tossing the idea of maybe trying to pay you a visit either on the way down or on the way back from Hamvention. So
Well, make sure you do it on the way down so you still have some money.
that's true. Yeah. Well, if we do it on the way back, though, we can only take so much, right? So, on the way down, I don't know, that might limit our Hamvention purchases. So, Peter.
That's why I suggest it.
Yeah. What's up, Peter?
I just wanted to quickly say, hey, Frank, hopefully we'll pick up, somebody would pick up maybe one of your great looking rigs to take down and show off at the SOAREX table. Maybe
I've
like
got
that
a couple,
2N222 rig.
I've got 2 or 3 rigs set out. David mentioned that you wanted a couple for the table there, so they're ready for you if you're heading down.
Right. Okay. All right. So maybe it'll be on the way down then. We'll try and arrange it. I can't remember exactly what day we're heading down. It's I think the Tuesday before. So I'll send you the dates. So
Okay, good show.
great. Okay. Joe, I think you are next on my screen here. What's new with you?
Just still working away at getting prepped for the eclipse. So I was actually doing some testing over this long weekend. I wasn't having too much luck with that QRP radio getting on the air. So I made the decision on the weekend. I said, you know what? I think I need to go back to first principles. Just use a radio, the antenna, and my old setup and a computer, and just see what the difference is. So that's what I did. And what I did was took my old radio and I started pretty high at about, and I also have this end-fed antenna system that I actually built this year. So I was still, also trying to figure out this antenna, if it's doing well or not. When I tested the SWR, it was 1.3 at 40 meters, like right at the operating area for Whisper. So I took my old rig, put out 20 watts, obviously no problem. Brought it down to 10 watts, brought it down to 5 watts, brought it down to 1 watt, and I was still getting connection. And then I realized what changed really was actually the cable that I was using. And it was actually I in doing this setup, I had forgotten a longer cable I intended to use, so I ended using a really short cable that I normally used to connect my radio to the antenna tuner. So I just used this really short cable to go straight into the end fed, and I was having no problem at 1 watt. So then at that point I realized maybe this has been my problem all along. So I'm going to attempt one more time this weekend to use my QRP radio from QRP Labs to do the whisper. And if it works, great. If it doesn't, then what I'm going to do is flip to my other setup, operate at 1 watt. And then what I may do is go back to the QRP radio and add those extra BS 170 MOSFETs, which boosts the power a little bit to get me to like wherever I need to be. I see 2 hands raised. I'll start with Frank, and then I'll go to Dave.
I believe it was Drew that had his hand up. I only saw
No, I
Drew.
didn't have my hand up. I think
Yeah.
Drew does.
It's only Drew.
Okay, go for it, Drew.
I was wondering about counterpoise, and I haven't played a lot with end feds. I haven't had any requirement to use a counterpoise on one. And I think that theoretically they're frowned on. But I
Right.
wondered if that's what you were dealing with when you had the extra length of coax on there, is whether you were getting into a counterpoise issue.
I was thinking about that over the weekend as well. I kept that as a mental note.
Yeah.
So when I do this test again this weekend, I'm going to have another spool of wire ready to act as counterpoise. So I'm going to do a bit more testing over this weekend between the 2 radios and also 2 setups with and without the counterpoise and see where I'm at.
It's going to be interesting to hear the results of that test.
Yeah, for sure. Because
Well, it's a real world test. It's not like the theoretical stuff you get off of YouTube. This is in your situation as it works.
Absolutely,
Yeah, that's a
absolutely,
big deal.
Dave. And what's really funny is, so this kit that I purchased to do the NFED, when you look at older pictures of the kit, they did not have like an extra, set of like a wing nut and a stub to put a counterpoise. But when I did this kit, it certainly did. That was
Yeah.
part of the instructions to add, so you could put a counterpoise. So that'll be part of my testing come this weekend, and I'll certainly report to you guys, when our next meeting, how it turned out. Yeah. So that's it. Just busy with that.
All right. Yeah, I kind of concur with the no counterpoise needed. That's what I've seen with at least the commercial end feds that I'm familiar with. They say don't bother, even though they do put a lug on the box that kind of leads you to believe that you could attach a counterpoise to it. But yeah, that's something that I've scratched my head over. The only thing that gave me a little bit of pause is, I am using an end fed as my primary antenna at the moment, and I do get a little bit of a tingle sometimes. There is no counterpoise on it or ground or what have you, but some certain spots on my rig that I touch when I'm transmitting, I get a little, something's coming back into the shack. So I guess that could be anything, not necessarily anything to do with the counterpoise, but I know that adding a ground wire in a different situation many moons ago got rid of that RF coming back into the shack. So anyway, there you go. Need to read Mr. Silver's book, I think, and get a little more educated on that. So, all right. Ken, which reminds me, you're still muted, Ken. There you go.
There you go. Yeah, I've tried a few things with an end fed, and I was getting a tingling too. So what I ended up doing was I put a what do you call it? A bellin on the end, an ugly bellin, and then I ran the counterpoise off the lug on the box, and that solved my problem.
Yep.
But I guess it also depends on your setup as well. Like I got a real small backyard. I got like 33 feet to play with, so I've got an end fed inverted L, and I've got a bellin, an ugly bellin on it as well, and a very small counterpoise. I haven't even tried it without a counterpoise. I should do that this weekend.
And that eliminated the issue, right?
Yeah, yeah,
No.
yeah. Because don't forget your shield is acting as a counterpoise, but it's also feeding back current along
Right.
there. So if you put an ugly bellin on there, that'll stop that. And if you do need a counterpoise, well, you can put it in just before the bellin.
Mhm. Okay. You also just reminded me, I thought this is what you were going to talk about, but I forgot to do something at the beginning of the meeting. Please note that all of our meetings are recorded and made available to the public for viewing on our YouTube channel. By participating in the meeting, it is understood that you have accepted these terms. So there you go. It's done. All right. Thanks for that input, Ken. Al, I see you're next on my.
Oh, that'd be me. Okay. Well, what have I been doing the last month? A little bit unfocused, actually. Work's been in the way, but I guess the story goes I decided to make an upgrade on test equipment, and I jumped from 1980 to 2024, and I invested in a new Siglent spectrum analyzer. So that was my Christmas gift from me to me. So I've been playing with that. What's been happening though? You got a new piece of test equipment. You got to find something to test, right? So first thing I thought is I need some filters. So started designing some filters, and then ended up on the QRP Labs website. And I'm sure most of you are aware you can buy bandpass and low pass filters there for under $5 American each. How can you argue with that? I can't build one and etch a board and make it for that. So ordered a couple. Bandpass and low pass 40-meter filters. Nicely designed. I will comment that they're small. They're quite compact. So it's a little challenging, but very nice filters. So got those built up and checked out the analyzer a little bit. Of course, maybe ending up buying something else. So I did buy their 10-watt HF linear. Decided I'd play with that. It came in. I'm very happy with the components and the printed circuit boards. Everything's through hole plated with vias and everything. So very high
I'm not sure if
quality.
that froze for everybody, but sorry, what was that last? It kind you kind of froze when you held up the. What was that you acquired from QRP Labs?
This is their 10-watt HF amplifier kit.
Oh, yeah. Right. Okay.
Yeah, it's about 29 American dollars.
Right.
So I figured, why not?
Yep.
Very happy with the quality. The printed circuit boards are beautiful. Through hole plated. All the vias are all plated. Very nicely done. So I'm going to be putting that together over the next couple of weeks and continuing to play with the new toy. I can't believe the difference from the old 1980 boat anchor I had, which did not have a tracking generator or any of these digital features. And I think I should have bought this thing a couple of years ago. It's very, very nice. So thank you, Peter. And I guess Dave's not here, but you fellas that actually had this one before, everything you said about it is true. I really like it. So that's enough for 1 month, isn't it? Or one meeting? I don't know where I'm going with these filters. This has started off with I got to build some filters. Well, now I've got a couple of filters, so that means maybe I need to build a transmitter or maybe a receiver. I think I'm just going to keep building modules until I get close enough that I realize that maybe I'm only one module away from putting a working rig together. So that's kind of the way I'm going to approach it. So that's pretty much it, Eric. Any questions? Otherwise, I'll pass it back to you.
Yeah, I don't see anybody with their hands up. You haven't assembled that linear amp yet, have you?
No, it just
No.
came in Monday, so
Okay.
I just got my hands on it and looking at it, and so maybe over the weekend I'll start putting it together.
Right. How many components does it have? Is it a lot or is it a fairly modest?
Well, a little bag of parts.
That's it.
That's it.
Wow. Oh, okay.
It's
So
basically what's the it's two BS 170s in a push pull stage, so fairly basic.
Yeah.
Uh,
I know Dave OOI has one of those kits. I don't think he's ever assembled it, but yeah, he acquired one some time ago. I think they're pretty popular, and get you up in a few more watts. So
yeah. I see Ken has his hand up.
yeah, Ken.
Yeah. Hell, if you're gonna build a transmitter, go tube.
Well, there is that. I've got the Bill Orr book, and I've always dreamt of making a big kilowatt boat anchor. But actually, I have an old Heath kit SP200, which is about 600 watts here. And, it's a rare day I actually use it, so I think I'm happy with what I got. But maybe that's something we should do for a buildathon. Do a 5 watt a QRP CW transmitter. That'd be kind of fun.
Hey Eric, doesn't Rex have something like that?
Yeah, are you talking tube?
Yes.
Yes. Yeah, he's got his Acorn twin tube transmitter that he did a build-a-thon, I think, back in the pandemic years or thereabouts. So yeah, he's done some tube QRP tube transmitters for sure. So
I think you can actually buy a kit for the tuna tin transmitter, which is both a solid state and a tube version of that.
tube, yeah, okay.
And I believe the circuit is very much a 1970 ARRL novice special, shoehorned into a tuna tin.
Well, interestingly, this little kit here, not only does it have the blue LEDs, I mean, you can choose whatever color you want, but it also has one orange LED in it to make it, glow, of course, because it has to glow. He said one time he had this, sitting on a table, and they're like, wow, that's getting really hot there. What kind of, current's going through that? He says, oh, I don't know, about whatever orange LED draws. So anyway. All right. Well, yeah, I look forward to hearing how that little amplifier works for you. I was thinking of buying that one that Dave has still in the bag from him and putting it together. So, because I've always been curious, how many watts can you, home brew relatively easily? Like how much does that scale up? Well, could you make it 20 watts? Could you make it 40 watts?
This kit actually says if you drive it hard enough and give it 20 volts, it'll put out 20 watts.
Oh, really?
But at 12 volts with 15 dB input, it's 10 watts. But it looks like there's lots of headroom, and they've tested it with a full open circuit and a full shorted circuit, and it doesn't overheat. It doesn't go let the magic smoke out. So it seems pretty robust.
Yeah, I mean, for that price, you could see how far you could push it, right? So interesting. Okay. All right. Thanks, Al. Ken, you are next.
All right. Well, I haven't been doing too much lately, except working and late nights and long weekends. Um, Presently, I'm pricing out the parts at DigiKey for the DCR. There's a couple of items on the list that are have uh, prices have inflated like you wouldn't believe. One of them being the PC mount BNC connector. Um, it's going for like $6.50 plus tax plus delivery. Um, I think I sourced it off AliExpress. There's quite a few of them. This guy had, I think, 10 for $14. And just by looking at the images, it looks like it's the same one. So I just ordered a couple batches, and they'll be here probably at the end of April. And if they look the same, yeah, what the heck? It turns out it's going to be like a buck something a piece instead of 650. One of the other items is we had originally spec'd a 78 L06 for a regulator, and when we did uh, uh, this latest version, it's a 7806, quite large. Uh, it's a few bucks. 78 L06 is like, I think I found them for like 55 cents a piece. So I'm just waiting for those to come in, and I'm going to test them and then come up with a final price. As it stands, um, the parts for one kit comes out to about 40 to 42 bucks. Now, if we order enough for multiple kits, of course, the price is going to drop. Um, but I'll let you guys know. Um, I had Frank had in his sales list there. He had the Ten-Tech Scout for sale. I picked that up from him. So this weekend I'm going to be setting it up and giving it a try and see how it works. Um, this one is a Ten-Tech. It's got plug-in modules for the different bands, and it looks quite nice. Thank you, Frank. So I'll let you guys know how it goes. That's it.
All right. Okay. Thank you, Ken. So yeah, that was a miss on my part. I should have had Peter go first, seeing that the time difference was. It was nice of him to show up, but if you probably saw in the chat, he has departed. So off to dreamland for him. So I should have had him go first. But anyway, c'est la vie. So that brings us to Kevin. So, what have you got for us this evening?
Well, not a whole lot. I'm also trying to get my antennas my antenna working here, because of where I am. Can't punch holes in walls, so making a little window bulkhead to get my coax out there properly and permanently, or sort of permanently. But I know, well, or at least in the past, I know Peter and I have talked about how to store, parts and stuff like this. So I tried something new that was suggested by a friend, and I'm just gonna share this. And I'm kind of thinking, well, it might be okay, but geez, I should know how to do this by now. Start screen sharing. There we go. And so anyway, so this thing here is a jewelry storage unit, and it has all these little pockets in it, and so you hang it up. It's got I cut the picture. Oh, I didn't take the picture there, but you can hang it up, and you can, like, I had all these boxes of all these little modules and things and whatever, and it's like forever digging through to find the one I want. So this way I can, what I've been meaning to do is print out a piece of paper that you can slip in there with the part number, or what I want to do is put a QR code that takes me to the website where I got it or whatever, so I can easily look up, what it is and the data on it and stuff. Anyway, so I was trying this and I thought, oh, okay, I just, it doesn't take up much room. It's easy to get at. And on the back side, it's got all these loops that are meant for like jewelry, like necklaces and stuff, but they work great for coax or cables or whatever. So it's a place to store, relatively short cables. It probably wouldn't work for long coax, but like, BNC, short connector cables and that sort of thing. So anyway, it was just, rather than piled in boxes and stuff, and I got, I think 4 of these for like $20 or something off Amazon. So anyway, it's just a different way to store all the crap that we tend to accumulate. So anyway, for whatever that's worth.
The nice thing about that is that you can, scale it up basically, right? You can have a whole clothes rack, on wheels or something like that, right? That you can have in your, work area and add as much as you want to that. I mean, hundreds of little pouches, and it's all visible.
For some of us, yeah, that you'd probably would fill a walk-in closet if you wanted to. But
Yeah.
I don't fortunately have that much. But yeah, you could, like I said, I got 4 of them. I filled up. I thought I was going to fill up a couple, but it's like that's kind of most of my inventory right there for modules and stuff. So.
Right.
Other than some Arduino stuff, but I thought, and it makes it very easy to find it. So anyway,
Right. No, that's smart. So yeah, not a bad idea.
just another option.
Yep. I think I'm not sure who was first there, who had their hand up. Maybe Hassan go first.
It was Ken.
Oh, it was Ken. Well, whatever. Ken.
Yeah. You could always do is empty your closets, pack your clothes in boxes and put in the garage, then hang them up in the closet.
Yeah. Well, yeah, exactly. Right. I mean, priorities, right? So anyway.
Well, that's what I was going to do. My wife's got a small walk-in closet. I was going to take all her stuff out of there and pack it away and hang my stuff in there.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I'm sure that'll work for a day or so until she finds out.
Yeah.
Oh, I could put a lock on the door.
Better yet.
All right, Hassan.
Yeah. Well, I was just curious. Has someone actually calculated how many storage bins we need for all our hobbies? Like, I think there'd be in the thousands. How many individual unique parts do we actually have?
Oh, you mean like little parts? Oh, yeah,
Yeah.
that gets, like especially the surface mount stuff now, it gets nuts, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, like the ultimate storage solution would have to be entire walls full of this stuff. Like,
Well, I mean, even for the surface mount stuff, I have a binder and I have plastic pockets, like you can get and I cut up the strips and I put them in there with a little piece of paper that says what they are. Which is fine as long as you don't dump the book upside down, then it's okay. But it's a lot more compact than drawers and stuff like that.
Yep.
Yeah. And I think the best solution is just need appropriate things for appropriate, appropriate storage devices for appropriate things, right? Some things bins are still more appropriate for, right?
Yes.
You got a big module, it's not going to fit in that sleeve, but I like that for small parts. That's actually, that makes a lot of sense. The fact that it's facing you, right? Makes the retrieval a lot easier. So yeah. No.
You could even have one for Arduino stuff and one for RF stuff and one for I don't know, whatever, right? You could
divide it up
anyway. But yeah, not all of us have a barn, Eric. So
yes.
It's like,
imagine how many of those
we have to economize. Yeah, we have to economize on space, right?
Yeah. it'd be nice if those things were available color coded, so that you could have red ones and green ones and blue ones.
They probably are somewhere. I'm sure somebody sells them like that.
Oh well, cool. All right. Well, thanks for that thought starter, Kevin. And if there's nothing else, we will move on. I would say it's that my screen has gotten a little rearranged here, so I'll call on Bob. How are you?
Okay, can you hear me?
Yeah, you're fine.
Oh, okay, all right. Yeah, I'm not at home, so I've not been on my bench since Christmas, so I've not had a lot. But last time I looked, I've got a QMX that's just waiting for the toroids to be wound, and I can get that up and running. And then I got another I think is a T41 radio that we heard about at 4 days in May, and I've got that sitting in the box waiting to get up to bat. And that's about it. I did have someone talked about their end-fed half-wave counterpoise. I've used a couple of commercial ones, and they've got a little like a pigtail, and it probably is not up to 300 centimeters or so. So that's what it is. But I also I've got a half-wave counterpoise for 20 meters, and I've got it on a metal clamp, and I clamp it onto the base of the connector right at the radio, and I've tried to use that to see if it does anything, but it really hasn't affected it one way or the other. But I've got a nice long counterpoise I got a nice long piece of coax, so I guess it's adequate for a counterpoise. And someone else, thank you for the suggestion about using double whisper to monitor propagation during the eclipse. I think I'll do that. I can't find eclipse glasses down here. I'm not going to go in the total path of it. I will take my camera and take some photographs of what I can see. But I will do the whisper experiment, and that's all I have. Otherwise, maybe next time I'll have accomplished something. Thanks a lot, guys.
Bob, did you make it to Hamcation this year?
Yes, I did. I did. I didn't buy anything. I think I bought a total of $5 worth of parts.
No.
So expensive trip to spend $5. But I always run across friends, and I hang out with one guy from the local club here, and Peter was asking about Duane, who's down here with me, down here with me, and we haven't heard from him. So I'm in Florida right now, and I'm going back up tomorrow. And on my way up, I'll drive past his house and see if I can find anybody there and see what's going on with him, and get in touch and report back to you guys.
Yeah. Okay. That'd be appreciated. Because we haven't seen him for a number of months now. So either here or even in the discussion forum. So
yeah, we haven't seen him at the Atlanta club either.
Right. Okay.
Okay.
All right. Thanks, Bob. Okay. So that would be next on my list is Hassan.
All right, so I was on vacation, and as I sat near the beach, I thought about the missed opportunity, because there's no better place to put up a vertical than right beside saltwater. So,
yeah.
And the second thing I regretted was not getting my RF meter, because I was on a Caribbean island which didn't have a lot of development, so it would have been awesome to see how quiet it was. But I did meet some people there who were building radios. There's this thing called BChat network. They're using sub 1 gigahertz, the ISM band, those radios, like 10 megahertz and 900 megahertz. And so there's this project called BChat, and they use off-the-shelf radios, off-the-shelf hardware like this. And it's like a mesh network, open and decentralized communications, VChat network. So I just learned about that, and I thought that was kind of interesting. So this is not on my bench, but it's just something percolating in my head, and I thought I'd ask you guys about that. If you guys have heard about these types of things.
I can't say I've heard the term myself. Did you find anything on the internet about it?
Yeah, I'll send you a link.
Yeah, post a link in the chat. Maybe we'll have a look at it. But it's how's it spelled?
VChat network.
Just BEE, like the insect. Okay,
That's right.
VChat.
And so it's encrypted, and actually that was one of the questions, because apparently I didn't really quite clue into this, but it's not illegal to broadcast encrypted stuff over the ISM bands. So that was kind of an interesting thing.
Yeah. And they were actually playing with this tech where you were?
No, they were. I met the guy after I'd already left, so I talked by phone. But apparently, I heard about this thing. So.
Okay.
And there's a whole mesh network standard that they use for this. So you can just put a bunch of these radios in any kind of configuration, and it just works. So I thought this is kind of an interesting direction to go in, because, you know, like you can buy chips from TI and stuff which cover all the ISM bands, and they just do basic binary signaling and maybe FSK, but you know, the hard part is just hooking up to an antenna and stuff like that. And Meshtastic is how they make the mesh network.
Right.
So I thought I'd share that with you guys.
Yeah. All right. Thanks very much, Hassan. Yeah, Meshtastic, I think most of us have come across, but yeah, VChat, no, that's a new one, new thought for the day. So appreciate the share there, Hassan. Thank you. All right, that I believe takes us down to Drew on my screen. So, oh, did I scare him? No, maybe he needs to reconnect. Give him a moment here. Perhaps. There we go. All right, you're back, Drew. You're still muted, but
Your problems.
Oh, there we go.
there we go.
Yeah, sorry about that. Anyways, what have I been doing? Well, as you know, we're absorbing all of the Niagara Falls people in Kingston on Monday because it's going to be cloudy there and it's not supposed to be cloudy here. So that's 1.5 million people. So, Eric, I look forward to hearing how that goes. May I suggest you arrive Saturday? We'll actually have a net running on the repeater.
Okay.
Okay.
That's a good point. I'll bring some radios along.
I think, yeah, I got, anyways, there's so, other than that, I built a QDX. I think I've commented on it a while back on this, in this forum. And I'm going to use it to probably, I'm not sure if I'm going to use FT8 or Whisper. Whisper takes a long time to send a transmission. So during totality, I think you only get 2 transmissions for the 4 minutes, something along those lines. So I was undecided about whether I should use Whisper or FT8. And I'm also going to record Dave. I mentioned to Dave that I would be happy to record his signal, assuming I can hear it. Doesn't matter. I'm going to record on 14.1 for those 10 minutes around totality and send him the sound file so he can ferret through it and see if he actually made it or not, because I think that was something he wanted to know. But if I'm correct, he's not going to be, he's gone farther southwest, right?
Yeah, I believe he's along Erie somewhere. I don't know exactly where, but
like St. Thomas or south of London, something like that.
Is it? Okay, I'm not sure.
I'm not sure. I knew he wasn't good. I think he's in Paris. I think he lives in Paris or
Yes.
something.
Yes.
Yeah. So he's gone past. He's gone further southwest. So either way, we will see what we hear. So it's
Has
going to be
Dave
fun.
posted any of the details of what he's looking for?
Yeah, he did. On the yes, it was record QRS. Well, record. I'm going to record an audio file for him at 14.1, and let him worry about what was in it.
Right.
I don't have I honestly don't know much about QRSS. I think it's a mode that's available in FT8, but I'm not sure. Anyways, he's apparently broadcasting in QRSS, and so I just record the audio file, and I think that's he said he had an algorithm to pull stuff out, and okay, well, so, other than that, yeah, the little QDX, I hooked it up with a Raspberry Pi, and it's got a hotspot, and it's a completely portable little 5-watt digital radio, which is pretty cool. And so there was some comments about NFEDs and stuff. This is an NFED random that I built, and I don't know if I can switch the picture. Yes, I can. This is it, and the 9-to-1 is at this end, and this is a 1-to-1 balun for it. And there's the counterpoise connection. And so, furthering along those discussions, I put a choke on it because I didn't want to get into Eric's problem of getting lifted off the chair when you key up the mic. So that's my version of it. But yeah, these home built antennas they're a lot of fun to do, and I really recommend doing it. There's a couple of very good YouTube channels where he's a Scotsman who has done exhaustive work on finding the correct toroid core, and it's from what I've read, it's all experimental, and in his measurements he does temperature measurements. So I've used him as the source for this build, and it works really well. I don't think it would take a lot of power. I think it's okay for up to 20 watts or so. But I wanted to congratulate Ken on his purchase of a Ten-Tech Scout, because I have one, and they are really nice. You're going to really like that. How many bands did you get for it?
Quite a few. 80,
Yep.
40, 20, 50, 30, 10.
Yep. Yeah, it's a great little rig. It's but one thing I do know about it is that the frequency on CW is it's really easy to work. So you'll like that radio.
Nice. Drew, you had a question from Hassan.
Oh.
Yeah.
Hassan, please go ahead.
All right, two questions. The first one, how are you going to watch the clips if you're recording for Dave?
By robot. I'm going to use SDR Plus and my Hack RF, and I'm just going to tell it to record during this period of time on that frequency.
Okay. Second question, what's the best place to see the eclipse in Kingston? Where the crowds won't be?
I'm going to walk out of my front door and look up Kingston at this recreational park, and they're going to have this whole thing. The crowds are going to be pretty bad, but I think, I don't know. I wish I knew what the traffic was going to be like, Hassan. I'll tell you. I'm thinking I'd go to Napanee and hang around the 401. You know what I mean?
Napanee,
If you go north of the 401, there'll be people on the. I think there'll be people on the side roads, just pulled over.
Right.
I mean, there's so much territory. There's this fascination with appearing in certain towns, and I think the tourism guys have done a great job marketing this, but I'm scratching my head over it because it's a pretty good sized swath. Apparently, the shadow moves at 2,600 kilometers an hour, so it's going to be hard to keep up to it.
Yeah, I think people just need an excuse to get out of Toronto.
Well, I don't disagree with that. I lived there for long enough. I did my time, but I don't mind not being in Toronto now. But you know, the beaches would be a great place to do it.
Yeah,
I see a map showing up, and we're gonna see. Is that the path?
Sorry, I think I was muted.
Okay,
Everybody's
so there's
seen this
Kingston.
site, right?
Okay.
This is Fred Espinac overlay over Google Map.
Okay.
Why is it not showing? There it is. Okay, everybody can see that?
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Okay.
So the red is the center line, and anything between the blue lines is the path.
Yep. So that's quite a. Well, you see, it's halfway up 41. You got a long area north of Belleville there.
Yeah.
Coburg.
So anywhere you are here, you're going to be seeing the total eclipse. So, you know, it doesn't matter as long as you're within this. And it's a really nice site here because you can just click wherever you want to be and it pops up all the details.
Oh, look at that.
When it hits the edge of the sun, the totality chart and finish, which is C2 to C3, and then C4 is the end. So pretty much you'll see every point there. You've got an hour before and an hour after the midpoint.
Yep.
So,
well, that's very useful.
Yeah. So Fred Espinac, eclipsewise.com.
We're getting a lot of echo.
Yeah. I think I'm. I don't know. I can't seem to stop sharing the audio on this tab without muting myself.
If it was coming from you, you wouldn't hear your own voice echo. So everybody speak, and whoever doesn't hear themselves is causing the echo.
I don't know if it's me or not. Anyways, Hassan, to answer your question, I would really avoid the actual city of Kingston.
Okay, I was planning to do that.
Well, the reason I mentioned that is that the majority of the public offerings are in the East End, and I don't know how many of you are familiar with the town, but there are 3 ways between the east and west because of the river, and one of them broke on Friday. So when I say broke, we have this bridge that lifts up and down, or at least it did. So one of the major thoroughfares leading out of the city of Kingston is no longer functioning to get out of town. So I'm very much anticipating that the traffic will be on the border of horrendous.
Okay, I'll have to see where I end up. Go to Lake
as I said, we will be running a net. We will be running a net. So you know, 3494 is our repeater. Tone's 151.4.
Okay. I'll think about where to launch this. Maybe I'll walk along the shore of Lake Erie and bump into Dave.
Well, you know, Coburg's not a bad place. Port Hope, Coburg along Highway 2 there is not bad. Even in Pickering, Highway 2, you go to Pickering Highway 2 and just keep heading east.
Okay.
You think Prince Edward County is going to be pretty congested?
Well, apparently, this is what they say. I honestly don't know how they're predicting the traffic. I have no concept of how they're doing this because they have these bizarre numbers. Like 500,000 people for Kingston is incredible. We don't have. If you took 500,000 people and started walking them around town, they wouldn't fit on our roads.
Right.
But yeah, the county, Belleville, Leeds, Grenville, they're all Quinte, they're all anticipating huge numbers of people. But I think Port Hope, Coburg, you know, Brighton.
Okay.
I think they're all available. Brighton's about an hour east of Toronto.
Yeah.
I mean, very, very happy to have you come down to our end. You know, I mean, it's just.
You know, if I go eastwards, I'll try to stop by.
Yeah.
That'd be awesome to see you.
Well, we're trying to figure out whether or not we're going to hook up some repeaters using All-Star. We may hook together the Quinty repeater and the Picton repeater and the Kingston repeater using All-Star, so that you key one up, you key them all up.
Okay. And
But if
Eric,
that
you want
happens,
to?
yeah, no, I
Sorry,
think Ken, you had a hand raised there.
Yeah, I do. In regards to the ISS, on 2017 on YouTube, there's a couple of videos of guys who tracked the ISS, and you can actually see it in the video. So I guess what they did is they calculated the tracking and they knew exactly where to look, but they did catch it on their video.
Yep.
And second thing is, would it be possible to post details about your end fed?
Yes.
Sure. Element length, counterpoise length.
I don't have a counterpoise on it.
Okay, that's fine.
Yep. I'll tell you that this end fed is a random. So there's a bunch of lengths that they advertise for use in a random wire. Uh, they really tell you to avoid certain lengths. They're very critical about if you get anywhere near a half wave, you're a dead man. So they give you these other lengths to use. So I had it out, I think 33 feet, I think I had up.
Yeah, I was looking doing a 51.
Yep. Yeah, that's a good one. And of course, being a random, it'll tune. I mean, it doesn't care about the half wave, so whatever you can get up is good.
Are you using a tuner?
Yes.
Okay.
I'm going to cheat. I'm going to cheat my brains out on this one. Yep. I'm no purist. Those little QDXs are really hard to build, and I really don't want to blow the finals out of it. Anyway, so that's all the news is fit to print, Eric. I will put together something for Ken on this NFED construction, and the solar eclipse thing on Monday. If you happen down in our area, VE3 Kilo Bravo Romeo is the repeater. 146.94 minus with a 151.4 tone.
That's where all the action will be, right?
Oh, that'll be me.
Yeah. Okay.
But there's a neighbor. If you get into the West End, there's a guy in our neighborhood he's got an 8 or 10 inch Dobsonian with a solar filter on it. So that's where we're headed.
That's cool.
Yeah, he's got a nice setup.
Cool. Well, I'm going to be bringing my dad out with me, and he's got a hydrogen alpha scope. So
yep,
that's what we'll be, I'm sure, using. So
very nice.
Yeah.
Well,
one of the those few minutes, what do you really want to be looking at, though?
Well, actually, you've got 3 or 4 hours to watch.
Yeah, exactly. So. All right. So thank you very much. Everybody's hearing me twice, right?
No.
No, okay, because I'm getting feedback locally here. Weird. So Howard, what is new with you? I'm going to check out while you're on here to see if I can clear this feedback.
Can you hear me okay? Because there's kind of a weird echo going on.
Yeah. I don't know what's up here, but you're sounding fine.
Oh, okay.
Clean and clear.
Well, I've been doing the PA board for the T41, and Bob, when you get around to doing yours, if you have any questions, let me know. But so that's what I've been working on, winding the transformers, and I think I installed one wrong, so I got to check it out tomorrow before I pull it out, which I'm not looking forward to. But that's all I've been up to, trying to ignore all the solar eclipse stuff that's going on. So I don't know. I'm same with you, Drew. I don't know where they're getting these numbers from, but I'm not in Kingston anyway, so I'm north of Kingston, so I'm just going to stay away from it all.
Well, you also get pretty much the totality.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Yeah,
Hopefully that'll work out weather-wise.
weather-wise.
So that's
So
all
that's
I've
all
been
I've been up to.
All right, thanks, Howard. Appreciate that. So the weather in the Kingston area is seriously looking clear, is it, at this point?
At this point, it is.
Yeah.
Right.
For the
For the
public
forecast
forecast
says
sun
sun
and
clouds.
There was a bunch of people that were heading down to Texas from the astronomy club that I belong to, and they've scrapped their plans. They were supposed to have departed today, but apparently there's torrential rains and storms going through Texas over the next like 5 days.
Oh God.
That those plans, and maybe heading out to the Maritimes or I don't know, Midwest US. Anyway, yeah. Fun times. All right, Cherry, good evening. A late entry, but just before you start, Ken, did you have something to follow up on that?
Yeah, it's Drew that's feeding back. I just muted him and the echo went away.
Okay.
But I'm not. I've had my microphone off.
That's funny. I don't know. When I left, Howard was fine, and then when I rejoined the meeting, there was an echo on his. So I don't know. Maybe it's just gremlins in the Jitsi. Who knows? So, but okay. Anyway, everybody looks muted. So except Cherry, you can unmute yourself if you'd.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
is it my turn?
Yeah, it's your turn for sure.
Yeah, I looked at my phone and I saw the reminder pop up, but I opened the phone, a little bit delayed, and then I found that meeting's already underway for 1 hour. I thought I will join and listen to the last whatever is happening. So nothing much happening on my side except for planning to go to Dayton next month if everything goes well and I get 1 or 2 days vacation. I hopefully should make it. Otherwise, most probably planning for the Hamfest this weekend at Iroquois, I think. So yeah, 50-50 on that. Otherwise, nothing much going on. Just doing some readings. Not getting much time to invest into homebrewing, which I have lots of kits piled up on the right side. So hopefully I should not be buying too much in the upcoming Hamfest at Dayton. The less the better is my motto right now, because I have too many stuff right now and I just have to build them before I get new ones. That's my policy right now. Hope it stays that way. Can change. That's all.
Okay. Very good. All right. Well, yeah, we didn't have any real presentations other than Kevin had a little organizing thing, which you can catch on the rerun, an interesting component organizing strategy. So I encourage you to watch that when it's posted on the YouTube channel. So other than that, we pretty much just went around the screen and talked about eclipse plans, of course. So don't forget to stick your head out the window wherever you are on, Monday afternoon. So make sure that's on your calendar, and don't be an hour late for that, because that would be sad. So anyway, all right. So that is, I think, everybody. Looking at my screen here, I don't believe anyone was passed over. So I think on that note, unless anybody else has anything to bring up, make sure you get any of those links that you want to from the chat, because they all disappear once the meeting's over. They don't come back. There's the B chat that Hassan talked about, and then posted a mention on the for that eclipse map. So somebody had their hand up, but I think it went away. So anyway, all right. Well, that's it. Next meeting is 2 weeks time, post eclipse. April 17th. That's a Wednesday. That'll be our regular meeting. I'm not quite sure if we have anything formal scheduled for that. I believe there are a few things that people have been working on, that presentations that will have a little bit more information on that closer to the date of that meeting. Other than that, thank you very much, everybody, for participating and sharing your what's in your mind, what's on your bench, and y'all have a great eclipse. All right, so that's a wrap. 73, guys.
73 all.